Well, greetings to you. A little bit of a follow-up on my video about inflation and stagflation, which a number of you have watched. Over 20,000, it's still rising. So obviously I've struck a chord of interest. And a lot of people have come back to me with some queries. And like most of my followers, they're quite sort of bright individuals, and the questions that they've raised are quite legitimate and need to be asked. Funnily enough, London, or an international bullion dealer, got in touch with me as well on the strength of the video and offered me some deals, as it were, for want of a better expression. I've been recommending reputable bullion dealers for some years, but these people got on to me and they seem to be offering something which is very much better than anybody else, as far as I can see. Now, one of the questions that you asked was bid and offer spreads. Perfectly legitimate question. What's my buying price? What's my selling price? And there's always a bid offer spread on an ISA or a unit trust or a stock or a share or a bond. There's always a buying and selling price. And some of you were concerned that the spread was really quite high. Well, if you go down the high street and find a little shop that says we buy gold and you sell them your coin, there will be a big spread. Because they don't really do much of this for a living. You've got to get in touch with the big boys who are dealing with economy of scale. And just to remind everybody, when I did my video, this cheeky chappy here is a gold sovereign, and it was the equivalent of a pound coin, roughly speaking, back in 1905. This is a 1905 date on this one. And I said before, it's worth bearing in mind that this coin would buy you a good bed and breakfast in a good London or Parisian or New York hotel in 1905. It will do the same today, because this little cheeky chappy now is worth about 350 quid. So it'll do the same today. In 100 years' time, this cheeky chappy, it'll buy you bed and breakfast in a good hotel in Paris or London or New York again, because it's a store of wealth, all right? It's a store of wealth. It's to protect your wealth. It's not an investment. Gold isn't an investment, all right? I keep telling people this. It's a way of protecting your savings and your pension and your money and so on and so forth. That's the game. Protection, wealth protection. It isn't sort of, my goodness me, we're going to make lots of money if we do this and trade. And some people ask me about trading. Trading's for mugs. Even professionals lose money on trading. No, it's a store of wealth you buy and you hold. And if you don't have the cheeky chappy in your hand or in your safe or in a safe deposit box somewhere, it isn't yours. Don't trust a bank to give you a piece of paper and say, yes, we're looking after it for you. We've got gold, because they haven't. There's lots of pieces of paper. There's 500 pieces of paper to every piece of gold, right? So if you don't hold it, you don't own it. It's a bid and offer spread. The bullion dealers in contact with me, and you can press a little button there and get in touch with them if you want to. They guarantee buyback, so they guarantee that they will buy the coins back if you buy them from them. They'll guarantee buying them back, and they also offer spot price. That means the price of gold you see in the newspaper is what they'll give you. No jiggery-pokery, no chicanery. Nobody's trimming here or trimming there. That's the best deal on the market that I can find. But you do your own homework by all means. And if you get in touch with these people, they have a consultancy service, so you get to speak to a real human being. You remember that? Phoning an institution and getting somebody to talk to a human being, that's a dying thing, isn't it? So they can talk to you and talk you through how to actually do it. It's relatively easy. It isn't difficult. But avoid the little shop in the high street that says we buy gold. They're no good to you at all. Now, one other questions came up. Yes, I said the banks are going down. They are. All the banks are insolvent. And if you do your own homework, you can easily find that out. But somebody said, my financial advisor said that there's a bank deposit guarantee. And the financial advisor is quite right. There is. Now, the question you have to ask yourself on bank guarantees, deposit guarantees, is why has the government sponsored the bill that allows bail-ins, not bailouts? In 2007, bailouts, they bailed the bank out with taxpayers' money. Don't forget, the government doesn't have any money. The government doesn't have any money, all right? It's taxpayers' money, or they print it, all right? Or borrow it. So it's fake. It's all fake. And now that there's a bail-in system, it's possible the government will say, no, just a minute, we don't accept you lost your money. The bank has issued you a bond or issued stock or something like that. Okay, admittedly, you can't sell it today, but there we are. So there's a sort of there's a sort of get-out clause on the horizon that I can see. I'm sniffing something that's not quite right. And secondly, of course, it's a politician's guarantee. Well, I'm over 70 now. I've never known a politician who wasn't a psycho. They don't keep their word. They're all crooks and liars. So do you rely, if your bank goes down, on the government eventually bailing you out with taxpayers' money or printed money? And if so, what's that going to be worth at the time? Up to you. Make your own decision. But it's right. There is a deposit guarantee if you trust it. I don't. And why would you bother? Why wouldn't you have a few of these cheeky chappets in your safe or something like that? Isn't that the way to deal with it? Anyway, it's entirely up to you. Somebody else also raised a question, quite a legitimate question. What about gemstones? Well, my wife last year went into a very reputable jeweller's in a local town because she had a few rings, a ruby ring, an emerald ring, and a diamond ring, and a string of pearls, and she wanted to raise some cash on it to buy yet more horses. So she tried that. Well, now, you see, here's the problem with that. Your jeweler, you'll see that nice glossy diamond ring in the window, won't you? Let's say for $3,000. Well, that same ring, the dealer will buy off you for maybe £600 or £700. There's a huge markdown because that dealer has to put it in his window. He puts it in his window. He might not sell it for 2 or 3 years, so he's taking the risk on selling it. So half the value, you might get half the value for gemstones that actually were retail. All right. So gemstones are sort of protection of wealth. No, they're not really. Gemstones aren't money. They're baubles, and you might make money on them, you might not, but it's not money and it's not protection of wealth. And you're reliant on your local jeweler. That isn't the way to go. They come from the same stable as fine art and classic cars, that kind of thing. You might make money, you may not make money, but it isn't money. It isn't a protection of wealth. Instant, globally recognized. You can go and you give this to any concierge in any hotel in the world, and the concierge will make sure that your bill is paid with it. These are the things you need to actually accumulate wealth. But anyway, speak to your consultant at this bullion dealer. Have a look around the market. Press the button, and you'll find out all you need to know about buying and selling gold. And it's actually very easy. Some people haven't done it before, think it's complicated. It's the easiest thing in the world. And you can do the same thing in London. You can do it in Paris. You can do it in Berlin. You can always buy and you can always trade gold because it's internationally recognized source of money, source of wealth, protector of wealth. So anyway, I hope that helps everybody. Do send your questions in to me. If you have anything or you have any concerns, let me know. I'll try and deal with them personally, but I think if you speak to the consultant at these bullion dealers, Pure Gold is the name. There's a little thing you can press. They should be answer everything. If not, I'll eventually get back to you, hopefully, or do another video to cover a point that hasn't been covered so far. Anyway, good luck with that. Well, greetings to you. As you know, social media was a wonderful invention so that we could all communicate with each other and share our views and share views that aren't necessarily in line with the establishment, the global establishment, which is run mainly by banks and big pharma. So I've been doing my best to do that, but I am increasingly being shadow banned or taken down, and so are many others. So beware of that, and I will be tagging anything I do in the future with various sources and various channels so that you will know, well, I've been censored from this, but I've been censored, but you can find it somewhere else. So the whole thing can continue. And I think some of these new channels, which aren't owned by the establishment or influenced by the establishment, banks and big pharma and all the rest, you'll be able to follow the facts. And that doesn't mean fact checkers, of course, which are owned by the establishment. So I just thought I'd give you the heads up on that. And thank you for your sponsorship and your support. I thank you for it. Without you and the information that sometimes you people send me, I couldn't continue. Thank you again. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research based, and I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.